Maybe. Hello, hello, hello. We have here my friend Viola Edward, which is amazing woman that you all need to know. And it's a great friend of mine. And you all know my relationship with books. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm in love with books. I love authors. I have an amazing admiration for writers. And my friend just launched a book. And even though I will not be able to be in the launching party, we're going to have a launching party today with her because I have the opportunity to just ask her some questions about the book. And this book is so juicy that you all gonna benefit a lot from it. So Viola, thank you, thank you, thank you for the interview. And I would like you to tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you're a storyteller. You will be able to just give us a hint for everyone to get to know you. And then my next question, of course, that you could put it together is why the title of this book? Please tell
Yes.
us.
Yes. Well, hello everybody, and thank you so much, Bisila, for this interview. Um, well, I am a Latino woman with Middle Eastern background, and my dad was Iraqi, my mom was Lebanese. I was born in Iraq, grew up in Lebanon, and we migrated to Venezuela in early 70s and lived there for 30 years, grow up there, becoming a woman there. So I'm quite Latino. And then when I was 40 in Spain, I was ready, it seems like, and then I met who became my husband, Michael, who was living in France, who is English, but he was born in Cyprus. So after all this transatlantic relationship, we end living here in Cyprus now, which is my fourth country of residence. So so that had taken me to so many changes. Some of them, the last one was my decision, but the other three were not. So we get ups and downs in life many times, quite hard. Like, for example, when we migrated to Venezuela and Lebanese war started and we could not go back. So there is part of my life that were really, really dramatic and hard. And there's others that how is it that I get over them, and would love to share that with you, and how I become the woman how I am today. And there is one factor, one what you call a trade line in the whole thing, and that was books. So in my house, they don't know when and how I learned how to read, but they have seen me all the time like this. Yeah, so I used to hide in books. I used to love books. I think before I learned how to read, that must be around 4. Maybe I used to sleep with them there like this, thinking that one day I'm going to be able to navigate on them. But the fact is, books were my refuge, where I was quite silent child, very silent. But then the drama was when at 13 and we migrated to Venezuela, I had to stop schooling and start working. But I kept very connected with book. What I never knew, because I speak several languages, but all of them now with accent. What I never knew or suspected is that I'm going to be an author. So I always was promoting book, and I become very good speaker in the early 90s when I managed to leave the corporate world and go and follow my dream to become a psychotherapist and a mentor. But I just never could sit and write. So I used to speak, but then some of my students once recorded me and they transcribed it and they gave it to me. And by then we already had computer, and I remember seeing those words that I say in the screen. And I remember like how my finger went to the keyboard and I start like expanding and correcting, and I start writing in the way how I write. More is how I speak. And for this specific book, my husband helped me a lot, Michael. And I will tell you the story about the book. But then now who I am a personal and corporate advisor and a mentor. I'm a transcultural psychotherapist. I work in different languages and with diversity, and I'm a humanitarian, and half my hours of work is for voluntary work and humanitarian work. And this grateful, happy person. Now I'm going to be 62 in March, and quite healthy and
Looking
great.
amazing, beautiful.
Yes, thank you. So in middle of all these stories, there were something I could not go through, and that was to stay in a relationship more than 6 weeks, maybe 3 months if he lived in another country. And so time will pass, and I would be this kind of, I guess there is a lot of people like me, like we really say we want the relationship, but we really don't want it, and we don't trust. I can imagine later on also in life, I understood through my therapeutical work, how is it that when my first man left me when I was 3 years old, which was my father, he died suddenly from a heart attack, how difficult it was for me to trust again and to stay again in a relationship. So I did a lot of work to be able to understand, to be able to untangle, to be able to stay. And then also I did something quite dramatic, because for some years, I would finish a relationship, go to another relationship. But again, I couldn't stay after the first fight or second, maybe. Quick.
Out.
Then I went into a process of celibacy for 5 years almost. I really did this kind of spiritual life at home. And I really kind of no more relationship, just to understand, heal the body, heal the mind, and also to understand what is it that really I wanted. What is it that really was non-understandable for me. I know you don't have to do that, but I went to that. And I always say people who went to extreme find solution in extremes. And that was very nice for me, because I clear myself from confusion about what is a relationship, what does it mean freedom. And I used to have a teacher that through the years, when he will see me, he will ask me, will you marry yourself? I said, first time I said, oh no, very complicated. And through the years, as I learned to love myself, as I learned to really understand what's my worth, as I learned also to heal addiction that I was trapped in, and addictive behavior, and certain way of thinking, victimizing myself. Why I become who I am, the jewel that I am, I remember the answer come out of me. Yes, of course I will marry myself. I'm fun, clever, smart working, attractive, solid, friendly, compassionate, creative, etc., intuitive. And I think it was in that time that I met Michael. And then we went into that process of a relationship, long distance relationship. Again, I was expert in long distance relationship because it's less commitment. But this time I was there staying. And then after almost 4 years, we decided to live together and marry. Now, that didn't stop there. In the film, maybe it's say the end. But my God, the first 2 years of living together after being so wild and so free and so, I don't know how to name it, that was really, really hard. So I didn't dare to write anything about relationship, huh? So I waited until 13 years later to be able to write about relationships and to really find myself solid there and understand what is it all about. And this is the result, how this book come. And the story of the title is that when I start living with Michael, coming from the Caribbean, I remember having the need to change the sheets of the bed very frequently, but not having the habit to fix the bed. So I wouldn't mind that the bed is not fixed, but I would mind that sheets and all the bedding should be changed very frequently. Now, Michael will mind making the bed, but maybe he will change the sheets a little bit later than me. So we would laugh about it and we make an agreement. I change the sheets and you make the bed. And then when we were talking about the title of the book, and we were with a friend then, and we were looking for a title because the first title was Conscious Relationship. And she told us, tell us story about yourself. So I said that story, and she said, here is the title of the book. There is a lot of negotiation to do
I
in
love
a
the title. It's
so
so
who makes the bed? Yeah, I know in some culture they said we know who makes the bed, but every home is a culture. So who makes the bed? Yeah, that's the story of who makes the bed. Yes.
I think it's so catchy. And now this leads me to the next questions. What is for you a conscious relationship? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, what I mean is that for me, being conscious is being present, being grounded, being compassionate, understand what is your worth, understand what is your responsibility, being reliable. And for me, conscious relationship is that everything I want for myself is also for him, is also for her. It's not only for me, you
Mhm.
know? So it's for both of us to have this right to choose, to have this right to negotiate, to have the right to be the most comfortable possible. And if it's not that comfortable, what does it mean for each one of us, and how we can amend to each other what we did without intention, and to know the worth of the other one, and to speak with them with justice and consciousness. And of course, we're not perfect, and we sometimes lose it and shout, or or say something that we should not have said. How to apologize the soonest, the best. How to really, really make it up for the other person. How to, if you brought a habit from your, like me, I brought the habit of not being able to stay. I had this story of escaping from relationship. I have the story that we changed school every year. I never study in the same school 2 years because all these changes. So that I brought to the relationship. That's not because he is like this or he's like that. So understanding what is it that you bring to the relationship, and don't pass that bill to him or to her,
Hmm.
depending who's your partner, isn't it? So when you're conscious, you know what is the baggage you're bringing, and you're working on it. Not only you're bringing, you're still working on it. But some baggages, it's not like, doesn't go like this. It's like continuous working. And I remember in our relationship, the first year, our friend used to have a joke here that Michael will call the airline and said, "Here she's coming again. Please tell her that there is no seats for today." Yeah, because I still felt months after, even 2 years after, I still felt the need to go, the need to run
Hmm.
away. But because I knew this belonged to me, I find strategy how to minimize the impact of that. How to
Beautiful.
be able to, I live in Cyprus, and this island is divided, and we go with our passport to be able to pass from one side to another. Those first 2 years, many times I had that fantasy. I'm going to the airport. I'm just going to the airport. And then talk about it with him, and cry about it and laugh about it. And this is how, for me, communication is bigger than love. It's very important. Love is great, but it's not enough. This is what I understand from my relationship.
There
Both
is
of us.
one thing in the book that I talking about communication. It's very important that you told in the book how it's important the language communication, but also that you realize that, for example, to express emotions, everyone should use the mother tongue. So your husband, as a consequence, learned to speak Spanish because when you are in a heated discussion, you end up speaking in Spanish. And I love that. I mean, please, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, yes. So imagine me now, I'm this emotional being, and then there's so many things to organize when you start living together. And then my first living together, kind of first, is at 44, yeah.
Mhm.
And Michael already was married, and he had a family, and he has kids. So Michael knew how to stay. I know how to leave quickly. So we needed to organize that things together. But then we decided to live in a place that none of us we know now. He was born here, but for many years he's not here.
Mhm.
We don't know anybody around us. And also it's a new language outside. So here, when we're in the honeymoon stage, you even don't need words. But when you're arguing, and I was like, with my hand and my eyes and my tone of voice, and I will say something, and he will tell me, "Darling, it's important that I understand you. What you said doesn't mean maybe what you want to say. What is it that you want to say? I will get more upset, And then one day he's very cleverly, he said, you know what? Just fight with me in Spanish. I will understand from your body language because he speaks French. He said, I will get most of it. And if I don't understand something, I will ask you. And that was great because then I could express myself without having to think. He will think from it. He will paraphrase for me. This is what you mean. And many times we will end laughing about it, or crying. But it kind of took the stress about it to find the correct word to express what.
That's beautiful. What is intimacy for you? What means intimacy? Because of course, this book is to inspire people to really have intimacy in a great way. But what is for you that?
Yeah, for me, intimacy is friendship. Is like kind of naked friendship. Is that when you're with your partner and you really, really trust him, you really, really trust her, you really, really trust him in a way that it will take a time, but it's being naked in your soul. And that's one way. Intimacy also means intimacy when the bodies meet. Now, look, the body meets in beautiful way in big part of our journey, and then bodies change. Bodies get sometimes hurt, or some bones are broken, or you're pregnant, or he's just get out of an operation, or menopause hit us. And how is it that you can hold your body and his body and or her body in a way that still those bodies that you love, even though in my case the curve have changed a little bit, the size have changed quite a lot, and without talking about all the things that fall, but okay, this is another conversation. But how is it that you're so proud of that body that you love, and it's that body that's going to meet the other body? So intimacy is about that, and about your soul also sometimes, or our mind, or our memory that get into certain trouble. And how is it that you can be naked, or when you don't want to be naked, when you're asking for the cover to cover one part of your body, or yourself, but feel in full trust with yourself. Therefore, you can manage the trust with the other one. That's what we're about here.
What's the difference between intimacy and sexual relationship from your perspective?
Yes, well, we can have sex without intimacy, and we can have sex with intimacy, and this is huge difference. I remember years ago, I used to have a client who will tell me that she has a lover, and but she didn't want to go to a party with that lover. Yeah. And I would say, so that means that you will not include him in your bank account? And she said, God, no. And I said, wow, so you're very rich now? She said, no. So I start playing with number with her. So it's 1 million, 500,000, 250,000, 100,000. So we arrive like maybe 10,000 or 20,000. I said, so that's it, but you will not put his name in your bank account. No, but you will spend the night with him. Yeah. She said, yes. So this is sex without intimacy, not related to money or not money. She will not go to a party with him. She will not want to go any place with him, but she will spend the night with him. Obviously, this is certain sex without intimacy, which is okay, is valid. Sometime of our life, maybe we have to go through these. So sex with intimacy is about being this encounter. We don't know how long it's going to last. The best of what we can do from that encounter. Of course, taking care of yourself always, because if you don't take care of yourself, it's your responsibility to take care of yourself. I'm not going to give that responsibility to the other one. But if you decide, as you decide to go to sexuality, you can experience how is it some intimacy. Now, hey, you can decide that, but the other one doesn't want. So this is halfway through. And the idea is that you explore without feeling more victimized, because a lot of people don't know how to meet sexually with intimacy. So you can get a lot of crashes, but keep trying. It's worth it.
And what advice you will give to couples this year? We all know that last year for a lot of people was the first time that they have to spend a lot of time together. And as we know, it's a year that a lot of our circle of friends, they might be experiencing certain relationship problems. At least I have several friends that they come up with this kind of stories last year. What you will advise to them? Because you have been for a long time in a relationship, and there is nothing I love the most that to ask people what is the secret, right? To stay together. I love when I see couples that they celebrating 50 years together. I mean, I always admire that because what a beauty. So if you could give these couples some advice,
Yeah. I
please.
really think you need your privacy. I really think, like I live and work I work at home in the garden. My office, my studio is in the garden. I think depending of maybe another day we talk with more time about the different personality that we have. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so I am a personality that I connect and I can make attachment quite quickly, but I need my space. I need a space. That could be the 1 hour in the morning that I'm by myself, or just before going to bed, or whatever. I need a space because I'm all time with people that I love and I like, and with him and my sister now living with me. So I think what is important in this time that we're staying a lot of time together, and some of us in small places, any corner of the house that make it yours, sacred, yours, and to for the other one to understand that you need to be in silent. If there's no a corner that can be yours, even when you're having dinner, if you need to be silent, but just tell him, tell her, because sometimes they don't understand what's going on with us, and they feel that they did something wrong, and they go into anxiety, and anxiety create fear, and fear create clumsiness, and clumsiness can create violence, and we went into a fight without any need. So as much information you can give about yourself, that I'm good, it was hectic day and I just need half an hour by myself. I'm coming back, I'm just walking in the balcony, which is that size, up and down. I just need 5 minutes. Or you know what, start you with the breakfast and I'll come later today, I'll have a longer shower. Or no space in the bathroom, only one bathroom in the house, to the room while the other one is in the bathroom. I don't know, just get your space and tell your truth in the most kind way. I think the nonviolent communication is great. There is 4 steps for it, which is what you observe about yourself and the other one. What is your feeling about you observe? What is your need? But this 3 is not enough. You really have to say, my specific requirement is. Yeah. So I observe that in the morning you wake up grumpy. I feel that you're upset with me and I don't know what's going on. I really need you to, I really need a little bit of calmness in my life and security. My specific requirement is that if you need a space, if you need me to do anything, if you whatever happening to you, give me a clue about it. So I give you the space and I don't put it on me. You need to say what's your requirement, because this is the thing that's going to be able to be measured.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And just to wrap up, because we have only a few minutes, your book is for all kind of couples. So tell us why people should buy the book, read the book, and what is the take on that we all could have from this book.
Yes. So my book is based for all type of couples, and I always remember my dearest friend that helped me. She was not my friend then, but helped me to make it more open, because it was first written for based in my experience, that is her heterosexual experience, and she called my attention. So I did take the time to open it up to same-sex couples too. So it's good for everybody. It's good for every age. It's good for people in an early age that are starting, because it has different chapter dealing with your own dilemma about the relationship with your own thoughts, with your own being, with your purpose in life. What's your vision? What's your purpose? And then from there, taking it to what is a shared vision? What is it? How do you unite your purpose with them? Okay? With the other one, keeping the individuality and the uniqueness. How is it communication? How to dare to be sexually healthy? And the other beautiful thing is that is made with Michael, that he helped me to correct my Spanglish. And also after every chapter, there is a poem that Michael wrote to me or wrote to nature in some time of our relationship together. So also it's like really, really beautiful. And also it has another chapter. I try to collect as much as possible. For example, very short chapter about how addiction really kill intimacy, and how when you heal addiction, you revive your intimacy. What is the importance of your image? Doesn't matter how old you are. So I try to touch many things of the self and the other one too.
Well,
So
I read the book and I could not recommend it enough. I love the book, and I think every person who really is trying to have a relationship, even if you're not in a relationship, I think the book also have a lot of insights about the importance of having a good relationship for ourselves. And
yes,
as you said, the moment that you start loving yourself, you attract it into your life exactly that person, because you will be married yourself. You find somebody who will marry you. So I think that with this, I wanted to just wrap up and say, thank you, Viola. Tomorrow is your big day. I mean,
yes,
as
please,
an
let's
author,
tomorrow.
and I encourage you, to all of you who are looking this interview with my friend Viola, to please go and get the book, because it's amazing. Tell us where we could find it. Tell us
Yes, I
all
send you
your
the link. I send you the link for Amazon, and tomorrow is going to be in that very special price. Tomorrow, 15th of January, and get it in that special price. Let's make it a bestseller, and please keep some comment about what you like in the Amazon too. And let's continue our work. Books are marvelous, and let's keep writing, let's keep saying, telling story, and let's keep helping each other in different ways.
Thank you so much, Viola. I love you so much, and I'm so proud of you, and I wish you the
Oh,
best.
you too.